We begin tonight with the issue of road safety. More people have died on the roads this year than during the same period last year. Amongst those killed, the Frames frontman Glenn Hansard, reminding us all of the dangers of being on the road. It's also the week in which a ban on e-scooters for under-18s has been announced. So what of the role of the €100 million Road Safety Authority and the reforms put forward by the government this week? We'll be speaking to its chair, Anne Graham, in a moment, but first I'm joined by Primetime's Jack McCarran. Jack, these reforms, why now and what's in them?
Well, Fran, as you said, unfortunately, Oscar-winning musician Glenn Hansard died in a road crash in Dublin yesterday morning, and 10-year-old Ira Muiracre and her mother Nell Raven died after a collision in County Cavan last Friday. And so while yesterday's announcement isn't necessarily in direct response to those tragedies, they do underline why road safety has shot back up the political agenda, while also reminding us of the victims behind the numbers. Ministers described a package of reforms yesterday as the biggest in years, following a review of the RSA that took almost 2 years. Ultimately, that review recommended that the RSA be broken up into two distinct organisations, but the government instead chose to reform rather than dismantle. And yesterday's package was essentially what those reforms look like in practice.
As you say, they've been coming for a while, they've been in train. What are the most significant things that have been announced?
Well, most of the main points had been well flagged in advance, including the mandatory helmets, high-vis and increased fines for e-scooters. A new road safety ambassador programme focused on education and awareness was also announced, with ring-fenced funding of €18 million. Road safety campaigners I've spoken to say that may amount to little more than window dressing. The Department of Transport also said the reforms include governance changes within the RSA, with the department taking control of the overall national road safety strategy, which they say will allow the RSA to focus on its more operational responsibilities.
One other change relates to data on collisions. What can you tell us about that? What do we know?
Basically, for years, local authorities, campaigners and researchers struggled to get access to detailed collision data that they needed to identify dangerous roads. The government committed, again, more than 2 years ago to addressing this issue, but the legislation needed to make it happen still hasn't passed into law. And again, road safety campaigners who I have been speaking to have said that it's taken far too long to get to this point. The ultimate goal of that legislation is to give local authorities a legal basis to actually request this information from the RSA and the Garda Síochána.
Now, Jack, you've been through the numbers. We know tonight there are people watching this programme who have lost loved ones on the road so far this year. How is the overall road safety picture at the moment? How could you sum it up?
Well, I suppose, unfortunately, Fran, the overall trend is very worrying. There have now been, according to Garda Síochána, 108 people lose their lives on Irish roads this year. And that's up on the 92 who had died at this time last year. And the longer term picture is equally as striking. And as we can see here from this graph, road deaths fell from 182 in 2016 to 132 in 2021, which was the lowest on record. But that progress, unfortunately, has unravelled, and deaths have risen in 3 of the last 4 years to 183 last year. And that's ultimately how these reforms will be judged, not by how the RSA is organised, but by whether they lead to fewer deaths and serious injuries on Irish roads.
All right, Jack, thank you for that. Well, a short time ago, I spoke to the chair of the Road Safety Authority, Anne Graham, and I began by asking her if the increase in road deaths this year was a failure on the part of the RSA.
I think before I answer your question, Fran, I just want to say that we are so devastated about the loss of life on our roads this year so far. 105 people have lost their lives, and they leave behind devastated families and communities. And we send our sympathy to all those families and their wider community. But I think it's a failure on all our part in terms of the increase that we've seen so far this year. It's a change in our behaviour. You know, our behaviour has disimproved on our roads, and we're very disappointed to see the figures rising as they are.
The RSA leans heavily on awareness. It's about education and making people aware. Yet we're seeing an increase like we have this year. Is it perhaps time to lean into enforcement more than awareness as being a more effective tool?
Well, I think each tool has to work together in order to change people's behaviours. And behavioural change is a difficult one to achieve. And we know that through deterrence theory, you can educate people, but they also need to know that there's consequences associated with poor behaviour. So while education is very important, enforcement is also important. So I think we have to continue to improve our education and our promotion of road safety, safe road safety behaviour. But we also have to have a significant amount of enforcement associated with that behaviour.
As an authority, you spend something like 18-20 million on road safety campaigns. Many people might question, how many additional guards could you hire for 18 million euro? And could that have a bigger impact?
I think, as I said before, Fran, I think it's a combination of education and enforcement, and also engineering. Like, they're the three main, I suppose, pillars of road safety and improving road safety for all those that use the roads. So yes, education is important, enforcement is important. And it's not just down to roads policing, it's also about looking at technology to assist with the enforcement activity as well.
One of this proposal around road safety ambassadors, can you explain to us tonight exactly what you're suggesting there?
So this is a programme that we want to develop so that we can reach young people in particular to try and get them to change their behaviour, because we're seeing, unfortunately, so many young people losing their life.
What does it mean? Are you going to pay people to be ambassadors to talk about road safety? Explain to us what the
I think it's to try and identify people that might be able to reach young people in particular, or different cohorts that speak their language, probably better than maybe the Road Safety Authority does.
So are we talking about social media influencers, people like that?
We don't know yet. We're going to be reaching out soon, but it could be, people from all walks of life, whether sporting life or different areas of our community, to reach out and have strong messages.
Have we not seen efforts like that for decades, and yet we find ourselves where we are?
Well, we haven't had a road safety ambassador programme. We have, I suppose, as part of our promotional activity, shown the effect on people's lives for, the loss of their family member, or significant injury that they've occurred as well, and that's also part of the programme. So this is an additional programme, and it's about getting a new voice out there to try and reach our wider communities.
Do you as an authority now have a clear understanding of what your role and function is? We know that the road safety strategy, which aims to reduce road deaths by 50%, has now been effectively taken away from you and given to the Department of Transport. Do you know what the RSA is now, or is there clarity around it?
Yes, it's very clear. We had a role in terms of coordinating the road safety strategy on behalf of the government. The department are now taking a more direct role in that, and we're focusing on the elements of the road safety strategy that we need to deliver on our operational services, on our customer services, and expanding our education and promotional campaigns.
What do you think it says that the department have taken that away from you?
I think it was part of the Intercon review. They felt that it was better that central government should have a stronger role in the delivery of the government's road safety strategy. And I think it is appropriate that it's a government department that leads in this space, and we support them as one of many stakeholders in that delivery.
Is the situation with the Road Safety Authority a problem right now? Because we saw the Irish Times report under Freedom of Information Act, a letter from the Minister of State, Sean Canny, accusing the authority of a lack of transparency, of basically not being out there, not having a voice in the media. He doesn't seem to have ringing confidence in the authority.
Well, I think that was in the early days. That was a number of months ago. I think we have worked with the Minister to, I suppose, identify and show him the work that the authority does.
He's not seeing it on the telly and the radio, that's his point. He thinks you're a bit anonymous.
Well, I think the education activity that we do undertake is probably not known by the wider community, and we do need to do more to show the work and the important work that our educational teams does, because it reaches from primary school all the way to third level, and we have a new transition year programme as well that we also want to promote more. So yes, the activity is probably not well known. We think the public now have a better idea about what the Road Safety Authority does, and they have more confidence in us in terms of delivering on our services.
Just when you mention young people, we've seen this ban on e-scooters for under 18s.
Yeah.
Do you think that will reduce accidents? Because we've seen people just wantonly ignore the under 16s ban.
Well, I think it's very important that enforcement of these new regulations is increased, and I think with that level of enforcement, we would hope to see a reduction in this serious injuries.
With the same level of enforcement, because we've seen the number of young children being injured, despite the fact they're using an e-scooter that's illegal for them.
Yes, and it is a tragedy to see the level of serious injury for misuse of e-scooters. We think, and this is the extension of the age limit to 18 is the first in Europe, because actually that would mean that it's the other countries have a much lower age limit. So we believe that with the new regulations that the Minister, not just the ones he announced yesterday, but what he's bringing forward later on this summer, and increased enforcement, will see a reduction.
How important is increased enforcement? Because you've mentioned enforcement several times, and you're pointing a finger in a particular direction there. Does enforcement need to improve?
I think enforcement is, as you know, is the responsibility of An Garda Síochána, the Commissioner, and he prioritises the resources that he has. Of course, we would like to see additional resources in roads policing, but he has to assign his resources as he sees best. But the activity, it's not just around the numbers of roads policing Gardaí, it's around the activity that they undertake, the amount of roadside checks that they do. And they're the kind of KPIs that we need to monitor. And as I said before, we need to look at other ways that enforcement activity could take place. And we would like to see a very significant roll out of speed cameras as soon as possible.
All right, Anne Graham, thank you for coming to us tonight.